Trailer for the brand new Disney Plus Star Wars series, The Acolyte, just dropped. Is it amazing? Is it a disaster? Is Star Wars dead? Let's take a look. So we've got some Padawan here.
Your eyes.
A bunch of different alien races, not just human.
Deceive you.
In the Jedi Temple,
Trust them.
where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fought. We got Carrie-Anne Moss. Guess she's going to be in 2 gigantic franchises now with The Matrix and Star Wars. Here we got a little Force push. Pretty cool. Coming this June.
What is that?
Lightsabers through the trees. Pretty cool shot. Very nice. And a bunch of different lightsabers. And there we are. The Acolyte. Star Wars The Acolyte, the new series. It's 8 episodes, starts June 4th. My initial reaction is, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't look terrible. I'm not blown away by it. To give you an idea where I'm coming from, I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. Star Wars, the original Star Wars from 1977, A New Hope, is the first movie that I ever remember seeing in the movie theater when I was 5. My parents took me to see it well after it had been released, like a year or a year and a half or something like that. And like, I think everybody my age, I was obsessed with Star Wars. I'm talking the original trilogy. You know, I loved those movies. I have Star Wars stuff. You can't really see it, but Star Wars stuff all over this room. The prequels were fine. I didn't hate the prequels. The sequels are fine. The shows have been hit or miss for me. I like The Mandalorian. Especially when it's The Mandalorian just running around with Baby Yoda on adventures. The other side stories I don't really care much about. The Obi-Wan show, I thought Ewan McGregor did a great job. Everybody else was pretty weak, and I thought it looked kind of cheap. The other shows I'm indifferent to. I liked Solo, the Solo movie. Thought it was really good and got a bad rap. I would have liked to have seen more of Solo, but again, that was an original trilogy character. I think where I'm at is I've kind of finally come to the realization that Star Wars isn't for me anymore. At least these new shows. This takes place 100 years before episode 1, I guess. So you're, completely removed from the Skywalker saga, I guess. You've got lightsabers in there, but other than that, this could be any science fiction series made now on Netflix or Disney or Prime. Just kind of has that look of, I've seen some people online today say that it looks like a CW show. I don't know that it looks that bad, but it just feels generic, I would say. I'm sure somebody has already coined this term or this phrase, but I think what I'm going to use is Star Wars in name only, swino. I'm sure that's out there as a phrase that people use. But it just doesn't feel like Star Wars. I think Disney thinks just having the lightsabers and the sound effects and the ships, and you throw a Wookiee in here or a droid, that's going to be Star Wars to people. But Star Wars to me was about the characters. Luke and Leia and Han and Obi-Wan, Darth Vader. Those were the reasons that, they were the reason that my friends and I were obsessed with Star Wars. I mean, we liked the ships and the lightsabers and the sound effects and the music and all that, but it was primarily the characters. I remember we used to fight over who's going to be Luke, who's going to be Han. So, I guess these will be new, interesting characters to people. They don't seem all that exciting from a trailer. I don't know how much you can learn in a minute and 45 seconds. I don't know, but it just doesn't feel that much like Star Wars to me, and it doesn't look particularly exciting. It's just kind of a big meh, I would say. I'll give it a chance. I'll watch it. Here is the synopsis of what the show will be about. This is from JoBlo.com. An investigation into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. As more clues emerge, they travel down a dark path where sinister forces reveal all is not what it seems. That's a cool premise. The creator, the Acolyte creator, is Leslie Headland. And she said that it will flip the script from other Star Wars stories as it won't always be told from the perspective of the Jedi. Yeah, that could be cool. I think that what makes the show different and interesting is that it's from the perspective of the villains of Star Wars. These are people who are using the Force in their own way, dipping into the darker sides of the Force, and are doing it without being sanctioned by the larger institution, which in this case is the Jedi. Headland added that the series will feature more Jedi than you've ever seen in any of the Star Wars content, but also more morally ambiguous characters as well. That sounds all right. I've thought, really prior to them doing the Obi-Wan series, I thought a great show idea would be to have a few remaining Jedi on various planets and Darth Vader hunting them down. Make it like a horror show. But what are other people saying about this show? Not just me. This looks like a CW modern day show. It looks so bad. It looks really good. Great to be a Star Wars fan in 2024, in my opinion. That's one thing I think about. What would the 5-year-old, 10-year-old, even 15-year-old version of me be feeling about this? I suppose I would be really excited that there are all these different new Star Wars things out. Maybe I'm too old for this now. I don't know. This guy says, Henry Cunningham, I can't wait to not watch it and then get blamed by a giant corporation for not supporting product from giant corporation. Please call it something else. Star Wars ended after Return of the Jedi. I don't totally agree with that, but I do, as I said, it feels like Star Wars in name only to me. Doesn't look that bad, honestly. The fact that there was no legacy character in the trailer for nostalgia bait is a good sign as well. Think I'll give this a chance? I'll give it a chance, too. If this is the direction Star Wars is going in, I'm all for it. Oh, wow, looks really bad. More akin to a cheap fan production on YouTube. Some of these newer Star Wars things really do give me the feeling of fan fiction. It just doesn't feel really like Star Wars to me. Disney Star Wars series have been hit or miss, with Andor being the peak. I only got through a couple episodes of Andor. I know people said it was great, but going into the Acolyte with optimism, but ready to be disappointed. It's so great to see the Jedi incorporate more martial arts and less lightsaber dueling to their fights. It fits in with their lore and ancient history of fighting before the introduction of the proto-sabers, then later lightsaber. So why did Luke not fight in that style? And Vader? Finally, some good serious Star Wars content. I don't know that the content seems that much better, much more serious than other Star Wars, unless they're being sarcastic. Looks good visually, but looks incredibly bland. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Jasper Reviews is saying there. All right, so what do you think? I've given my thoughts. I am very on the fence with this. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look great. It's a big meh to me. But what do you think of this brand new Star Wars The Acolyte series coming to Disney Plus? Are you pro The Acolyte? Are you anti The Acolyte? Give me your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to give us a like and a follow, and I'll see you in the next one.